Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. I want to talk about some ways to grow your real estate business. I'm going to give you 10 ways, 10 different things you may not have thought of to grow your real estate business. Real estate is not monolithic. There's not just a single thing you can do to be successful in real estate. I've done several of these, and all of these work. It's just a matter of where your skill set is or what skills you could develop, what you could pick up. So let me go down the list here. One thing you could consider as a source of funding, friends and family. You can take on investment from friends and family. This is a high trust situation because they know who you are. You're a known quantity. And providing a good investment return to them is sort of a helping hand to people that you care about. When you take in additional investment from friends and family, you can grow the number of properties that you own over time. One thing you want to think about, you should have an informal agreement about how someone can exit the investment if they need to. And you should also explain the rules of the road. The main thing is you're the one making the decisions. They're along for an investment return only. An alternative funding source. A lot of people do this already. If you haven't thought about it, it might be because friends and family are waiting for you to invite them. Sometimes when money is involved, people are a little bit skittish about it, so they may not have mentioned it. But if you're getting a good return and they know that, you've got that reputation, don't be surprised if they will take you up on that. Okay, idea number 2, property management business. If you have rental property, you already have a property management business, most likely. Even if the only thing you do is to interface with a property manager, you still have skills and knowledge and acumen, business acumen, about how to manage properties. So instead of that being an expense, you can turn that into a revenue source, an income source, by offering property management to other landlords. And it's an easier sell to sell property management services from one landlord to another than to a standalone company that does property management, and that's the only way they make their living. You probably already know a lot of fellow landlords, so you may already have a big network of people you could approach and to turn your property management expense into an income source. You can. One of the cool things about this is you can get early notice if a property is going to be coming on the market. And you can sort of try to be the first one who gets a shot at the property if it's going up for sale. It's a great way to find out when a property is going up for sale. One caveat, you should check to see if there's a local license you need to get, a license of some type. That's not true in every area, but some areas you probably do. Okay, so idea number 3, this is something I've done. Garage and storage rental. So oftentimes at our apartment properties, we have garages that are rentable to our tenants. Storage space too. Okay, so if a tenant elects not to rent the garage that belongs to their unit, what I've done in the past is I've rented out those garages to the public. So if you think about it, there are tons of renters out there, and most of them do not have a garage. Many of them have nice cars that are parked outside or in a carport, and they would really like a garage space. So whenever I had an available garage, boom, it filled up right away. The cool thing about a garage is there's no upkeep. It's basically a place to park the car. In some cases, there's not even electricity wired to it. It's basically just a standalone enclosed garage space. So something to think about if your property has garages or storage space. Another option here is to rent to tradespeople. A lot of trades companies do not have the parking space for their company vehicles, and they would prefer having them in a garage at night because of the tools and stuff that's usually, and the equipment that's usually on the vehicle. So that's another customer source, another source of customers if you're renting out garages, storage spaces. Okay, here's another one that I've done, student rentals. So here's what I did. I started looking for property around the nearest university. There were a bunch. There were a lot of properties available for sale around this particular university. This was in California. And so I got into that side of the real estate business. And let me tell you, that was a stable business. And the reason is Students start the semester, they stick around for the additional semester, or if it's a quarter system, obviously. If you sign year leases, annual leases, you avoid the summer vacation move-outs. Most students scramble to find housing when they come back from summer vacation. So what I did is I just pointed out to the parents, because I rented to a lot of the parents for these students, for these college students. A lot of their parents were deeply involved in interacting with us. I would just tell the parents, we only do 1-year leases, and students really have a hard time finding housing if they wait to the last minute. This saves them the grief. And what a lot of my student tenants did is they would take summer classes. They were there paying for the rental. They were close to the school. So the income is very stable from this. It's very predictable. The university's there. It's always going to have students every year. And the way you get around the concern about, okay, what if I have students who are partiers? You can get co-signers. You can get their parents to co-sign. You obviously run them through a tenant screening process, and if you're concerned about that aspect, you can get a parent co-signer for that. So let's see here. And also with student housing, you want to make sure you have certain amenities for the students. You've got to have Wi-Fi for the whole building. You know, if it's a house and you're renting out bedrooms, it'll be much easier to rent it. Excuse me. If the property is wired for Wi-Fi, because all students need Wi-Fi these days. Something to think about. Okay, another option: short-term rentals. I know a lot of people who do this. I've got friends who do this. The rental income, you know, my goodness. If you live in a destination region, lots of employers, tourists, lots of visitors for whatever reason, theme parks, that kind of thing. If you live in a destination region, the amount of income these properties make, my friends have talked to me about, it's quite enticing. I haven't done this yet myself, but it was like double or 2.5 times what my rentals were making. It was very enticing. Okay, so this is sort of if you're tech savvy. Security cameras. If you have security cameras at your property and you're tech savvy, you probably installed them yourself. Most property owners, most landlords are not tech savvy. They don't have that skills. They have to hire it out. So you could conceivably sell security camera installation to all the landlords in the area who are not tech savvy. Most of them are not. So again, if you have security cameras at your property, you probably do. You can turn that expense into a revenue source by providing this service. Okay. This next one, number 7, build to rent. This is becoming very popular. Building homes and properties for rent, townhomes included, that are designed, purpose-built for rentals. I'm not talking about apartment buildings. I'm talking about, regular communities like single-family homes, generally small single-family homes or townhomes. Instead of and obviously you would need some construction skills for this. Or know someone who has those. So instead of building homes to sell, you build them with the intent to turn them into rentals over the long term. That is much more profitable, potentially, than building and then selling. Okay, so another option, a lot of people don't think about this. This is sort of thinking outside the box a little bit. Consider buying and operating property types different from what you have. For example, I know people who only buy and rent out homes. You might consider trying 2, 3, or 4 unit properties. It's the same type of loan as a single family home. These are not commercial properties. You don't need to get a commercial type of loan. It's the same type of loan as a regular single family home. Here's the cool thing about this. I've done this too. The cool thing is if you rent out a home and it goes vacant, when that happened to us, we have 100% loss of revenue until we get it re-rented. With 2, 3, and 4 units, you're diversified. If you get a move out, you still have you only lose a portion of the rental income. It's much easier to maintain the loan payments if you've got that kind of diversification. So this is something to think about. If you want to try commercial residential, I've done that. That's 5 or more units. That's even better. In fact, the more units you have, the less of an impact a move out can have on you. Your ability to sustain the debt payments, the loan payments, is enhanced the more units that you have, obviously. So Number 9 here is buying and operating fixer-uppers. Now, I've done a lot of this. I mean, a lot. I've done quite a bit of this. There's a video on my channel turning $100,000 into $1,360,000. You might want to check that out. I go through the process of how to do that. Basically, you can get started in this by buying a single unit, a condo fixer-upper, a townhome fixer-upper, or a home that needs to be remodeled or fixed up. Move into it. You need a place to live, obviously. And then spend the time while you live there acquiring the remodeling skills that you need. YouTube videos are a great source for that. Any friends you have that are that have some of those skills, you can learn from them. You live in the property, you build up some remodeling skills, and then you're ready to go out and buy bigger properties. And in this video, turning $100,000 into $1,360,000, I actually described that process. You start small, and then you build into larger fixer-uppers. The amount of money you can make on this is sort of incredible. I mean, in that particular video, I describe a 23.5% annual rate of return over the lifetime that we held it. We held the property for, we held a bunch of properties for well over a decade, and it just kind of made bank on them. Okay, so number 10 here, idea number 10, if you have skills, remodeling skills already, you can turn that skill into a business. So I've got a relative who built up a construction company. He started buying fixer-upper properties. He would hire tradespeople. And he was doing that so frequently, he ended up with a lot of units, a lot of remodeled units, that he decided to turn that into a business. He had quite a depth of knowledge about remodeling and doing fix-ups of properties. And he had a whole crew that he kept working on his properties. And the only issue that he had is if he had a lull in his buying activity, if he went for a while without buying another fixer-upper, it became hard to get his crew back to work if he bought another fixer-upper. So he formed a construction company, and he kept his crew busy all the time by offering that service, this remodeling service, to other property buyers. If a property buyer wants to buy a fixer-upper, they don't want to do the work, they are a target customer. So he kept his construction business going for that. And he turned his remodeling expense into a profit center. Instead of forking over the money to keep his crew going, he was earning an income from other landlords who were hiring his crew. And so it's a way to sustain that part of the remodeling business if you're buying fixer-uppers. It's a great way to sustain access to the talent you need to be able to do the fixer-upper idea. So I hope that expands your thinking about real estate. Some people will do one of these things and they'll kind of stick with that and not really venture out. Another thing you can consider is taking what you know and expanding to outside your region. Instead of only buying properties within walking distance or driving distance, short driving distance, you might consider an adjacent town and expanding your holdings to nearby areas. Because if you have a property manager, you already know how to manage those sorts of people. They can manage your properties that are a little further out. So I hope that gives you some ideas. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. And I want to thank you for watching and have a great day.